Yes, you can. You could print out your own hard copy if you had a big enough printer to do that. You could also manipulate the map too and put it into another program where you could cut out parts of it or shrink them or make them into something bite-sized. But they'll be scaled, so if you printed them out on a printer just as they are, they'll be that size right there. But if you're interested in one small area, you can always kind of chop it out and look at it a little bit closer.
Is the indexing map available online?
You know, it is. If you go to our website and go into the maps part of it, this map should be something that you can pull up, and we've also got another little map that lists the names of the quadrangles and what the status is.
And what are the red squares again?
Okay, there are a couple of red squares here, and remember that I said we go out and do about 3 or 4 maps a year. And those red ones right there are the ones that we are, well, we're actually mapping them right now. I've got one of my mappers who's out by Whitewater, just south of Grand Junction, and he's working on his map right now to finish it up. I finished my field work down around Hotchkiss about 2 weeks ago, and then moved back to my home in Boulder. That's where I'm from. And so this is the Hotchkiss quadrangle right here. That's our newest one. And we're moving up the North Fork into the headwaters areas around Crawford, Paonia, Hotchkiss.
And you said it's about a 3-year turnover from your field work to being able to have it finished?
Yes, it is. And one thing that we want to try for, we've got a bit of a backlog right now. But it's the kind of project where we're shooting for about 1.5 years to have them out. We'll see if that happens. It's a pretty good track record, and actually it's kind of because we're so busy. We're such a small agency that we're always running around doing all these different things and working with counties, and so we haven't been able to keep our eyes on this. The other place where we're mapping is Whitewater, just down to the south of Grand Junction, and they're a lot like we are around here. They've got the same type of geology that we do. And then we've been mapping up along the Yampa River Valley for several years, and we had a couple of fellas up there in Craig right now doing some mapping up there. And when we go out to map these, we've got a Jeep that we take out. We take the roads wherever we can and look at things from the roads, but if we need to get out, we always walk to the places, so we do a lot of hiking during the summer. And we also do a lot of talking to landowners as well. Because we're in these places where a lot of people use the geology, we've got to go up and ask them if we can go on their land to do it. And I know that the fellas up in Craig, they got there right at the wrong time. They got up there when all the sheep were lambing, and you know, nobody wanted people out walking around their pastures and making the sheep nervous and all that kind of stuff. So they had to negotiate with the landowners to wait until the lambing was done and that they had moved them to other pastures. And that's just the way it goes out there. We'll work with people whatever they want for getting onto their land, and if they say no, we just say thank you very much, and we can't go on their land. You know, it's their land. They can tell us whatever they want to. The flip side of it is that most people are really interested in what's going on, and if we say we're coming out to look at their land and we'd like to tell some more about it, they're really interested in hearing what we found, and they know a lot about the land as well, so sometimes they'll jump on the four-wheeler and take us all over the place and show us things. This last summer, working in the Hotchkiss area, I had to ask 34 different landowners if I could get onto their land to look at the geology. Guess how many of them said yes? 34 said yes. So we usually do really well, but you know, there's usually somebody like a Las Vegas casino owner or something like that who has some gigantic ranch and they don't want us around and aren't interested. But for the most part, everybody's interested, and you know, even if they don't care that much, they're just kind of like, sure, go knock yourself out, you know, go take a look at it. So it's kind of a nice thing where even if it's kind of neutral, it's something where we win and everybody wins because we get to go out and look at the geology. So let me see if there's anything more I want to tell about these maps. Every single one of these maps, to me, is kind of like a book in a way. It's almost like a visual book, but all the geology in a place tells a story. And if you think about it, we've got all these different formations, and they're all different ages. They all tell us something about climate. They all tell us about the animals or other types of creatures that might have lived there at the time. They tell us a little bit about something that may have been going on, not even where we're standing, but up valley, up the stream. And so whenever we map these, if you look around, there are just about 1,000 stories in one of these. And we can start, you know, once we map what's there, we can start putting it all together and go, oh my gosh, look at all this stuff that happened around here. And now that we've made a map like this Orchard City one, then we get to do the real fun stuff, which is to go, we call it arm waving. So it's something where we can just point around and go, this happened here, and we think this happened there. And so we can kind of put together a story of just the geologic history of this area. Why does this landscape look like it does today? And there are a lot of different things that happen along the way. So in a bit, you know, we'll kind of walk out here to the edge a little bit more. And this is such a nice place to do a talk like this because we're looking at all the Gunnison Gorge here. And there's a lot of things that happen to make Gunnison Gorge, and we'll just kind of point out the different parts of it and talk about the history, what happened in the geologic history of the Earth to make this scene that we've got today. Now this other map that I've got right here, this is one that I finished making the summer before last, and it's still in review right now. It's in a much earlier stage, so it doesn't quite have the real nice look to it that the other map does, but it's something that's right along the way. And again, you can see some really big patterns of things going on in it, and there's an awful lot going on in this area. But we're on this map. We're right here at the end of this little mesa, and what we're looking at is the Gunnison River flowing down the gorge, and that would be from straight behind you this way. The Gunnison River is flowing toward us, and the Gorge River, which is up this way behind me, is coming down through its own gorge right here. This is all Rogers Mesa. This is Redlands Mesa up in here. These are the adobes that the highway goes through, or that you know, it's just right out there. That's this part of the map. And then the two rivers go together and they flow down that way towards Austin. And that's right around in here. And then it flows into the other map. And so there's the lower part of Gunnison Gorge. There's Austin right there. This would be the Orchard City area right up on top of Surface Creek. And this is part of Redlands Mesa right here. So that kind of shows about the area if you're familiar with all those mesas and creeks and things like that. That's about where everything is. And this one isn't labeled up. There's all sorts of different units on it, but you know, in a way, when you first look at these things, they're kind of confusing because they've got a lot of different colors, they've got a lot of different labels on it. But if you end up spending time with it or just start in a really